These things go down. These things go down. It's too big. Am I going to start every episode with a movie quote that I want you to guess? Maybe. It's my prerogative. I am Paul Bartholomew. This is I Want to Hold Your Band. And today's guest is Tony-nominated actor, the very talented Rory O'Malley. You may know him from the show Book of Mormon, where he performed this incredible number called Turn It Off. It was absolutely amazing. I'll link that in the episode description, the cast album for that. Or you may also know him from the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, or when he played the king in Hamilton on Broadway for a while, and from TV and film. He's just a very talented guy, and I'm sure you've seen him in a billion different things. We talk Beach Boys, Beauty and the Beast, Sarah McLachlan, Green Day, Stephen Sondheim, all these great Irish songs that he knew growing up in Cleveland. As always, all the songs we talk about are linked in the episode description, so you can click them and vibe along with us. And hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't already and you listen consistently, again, you're a terrible person. No, you're not. I love you. I'm joking. Come here. Give me a hug. Too tight. That's it. I hope you enjoy this episode. Without further ado, I give you the very talented Mr. Rory O'Malley. The first thing I always start out with is the first piece of music, artist, album, whatever it is, that you remember coming into your life.
Yeah, I mean, I really remember, I grew up with a single mom who grew up in the 60s in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, okay.
Yes. And I really remember the Beach Boys really well, like early on, like listening to Pet Sounds. And my first concert was the Beach Boys at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Like, this is when they had, Kokomo was out, it was a really resurgence of the Beach Boys.
Right.
So I really remember the Beach Boys early on, and I love the Beach Boys still. Maybe that's why I live in California now.
I wonder, that gets into your...
It does. Like California just seemed like a very, very foreign other planet.
Growing up in Cleveland,
yeah. And I didn't come to west of the Mississippi until I was 19. Like I had not really traveled out west. So coming to California and being here and living here now, it's kind of because I saw it as this magical place. She also had an original cast album of Hair, which is how I got into musical theater. She loved musicals, and that's why I became a musical theater guy. She went to New York and lived there for like a year, and she saw Barbra Streisand in Funny Girl. So we had this whole musical collection as well. And we would go through, I would listen to cast recordings, but the Hair one, which is funny, that's not really appropriate for a young child. But, I loved those albums. She also loved Neil Diamond a lot.
Oh, wow. Why did she go to New York for a year? Before you were born?
She
as an actor?
Yes. No. She worked in a bank, but she just wanted to go to New York. And so her and one of her best friends, they moved to New York, and her father passed away, and she came back to help with the family and didn't go back to New York and stayed in Cleveland.
Oh, wow. Do you think she would have stayed in...
I know so, yeah. So it was always interesting that I had this life in New York after, but it's definitely because of her love for New York and Broadway. That was really just as a fan. I mean, she can sing. She's the loudest one at Mass on Sunday. But it really is because she loved seeing shows and that time in her life. I went back with her and her girlfriend who she moved to New York with, who's sadly passed away. But before she did, we went to their old neighborhood in Forest Hills, Queens, and by their bank. We went in the bank that they worked at together.
Wow.
And everything.
Any other musical records you remember?
I remember Hair, South Pacific. Sound of Music was a really big deal in my household. We watched the movie more than just the record, though.
Okay.
It was, once I got a hold of Sound of Music, I was like, I'm going to play that boy, and I never did. I remember, this is what happened. They actually had a local production, and I auditioned to be Kurt, the younger boy, and I didn't get it. I was devastated. Oh. I mean, I remember...
How old were you?
I was in 5th grade, and I was so devastated that I did not get this part. That it was like the first moment where I was like, are you going to keep going with this? Because this is how much it hurts. Or are you going to like give up? And have a much easier life. And I kept going. Yeah, and music is was such a big part of our household, and my mom loves music. Music is just so integral to life and enjoyment of life. And, you know, we grew up in an Irish household, so a lot of Irish music as well was being played. Yeah. You know, I was raised by a single mom, but she's one of 7 kids, so she has 6 siblings.
Were they all there? And
they were all in Cleveland except for one was in California, actually. Which is also why I was always like, that faraway place.
In LA or no?
No, in San Jose.
In San Jose.
Yeah.
So your mom had the record player, she had the music. Do you remember the first piece of music that you bought? First of all, before I go to that, did you have something to listen to music in your room? Or would you, whenever you listened to music, would you listen to it out in the living room with that big system?
Yeah, I had it. I didn't have it in my room, but I do remember when I got a CD player, and that was just like the biggest deal. Like that was my CD player, a boombox that we had in the living room. And I would put on like the cast recording of Sweeney Todd, open up the line notes and read along to every single word. So I would make sure I would know every single word and just have the boombox. I remember the boombox being right in front of my face.
Really?
I don't know what, like I could have sat down, but I remember I had to be like right there.
A CD boombox, or did it have a cassette as well?
It had, a cassette as well. Oh yes, we were still very much in the cassette era.
We're on the edge, so it was starting.
Yeah. It was like the first CD player that, you know, was in our house was at this boombox, and I really wanted to get it. And I remember listening to like Beauty and the Beast movie soundtrack, Sister Act. I wanted to become a nun for a while. Nun is a theme in my life. Sound of Music, Sister Act. Because, you know, like that to me, I was growing up in Catholic and going to church all the time. And here were these nuns who were actually singing fun songs and loving it. And I was like, we should do this. Why somebody talk to Father Callahan? We need to have a better choir. You know, I really was like ready for us.
Was his name Father Callahan?
Correct.
I mean, like, could not be any more.
Nope. So, you know, I remember very clearly listening to music like
on the boombox.
That. Yeah.
But you'd listen out. You wouldn't necessarily bring it into your room, or you'd listen to it out there, kind of.
I would in the family room. But I'm an only child, so like
you didn't want to like hole up in your room.
No, yeah, no, I don't. I did. Well, they were all my rooms. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, I kind of took over the house. And my mom, you know, I was a latchkey kid. So I remember I was going home by myself by 5th grade and waiting after school. So I had the house to myself for at least 2 to 3 hours, you know, doing homework or whatever. So the house was my own at that time. So music would also be something that would make me feel like I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
You know, I would always want sound to be on so that I wasn't getting lonely or scared even, you know, that I was in the house by myself.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it definitely serves as that. Even now I have that.
Yeah.
You have something going in the background because you're like, it's so quiet here.
Right.
Do you remember the first piece of music that you bought?
I think that it would have been the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack for the animated film, because I really do remember putting that on, listening to every bit of orchestration. And, you know, when I saw that movie, and I do like a couple of things from Beauty and the Beast, so it's well documented that I'm obsessed with Beauty and the Beast, whether I like it to be out there in the public or not. It's known. But I remember listening to every bit of orchestration, knowing every moment from that recording. And I don't know why, but when I saw it in the movie theater, it kind of did change my life, where I was like, this is theatrical. Like, this is a cartoon, but this is something that could be on a stage. Like, this is something that I just saw it as something different than, you know, going to see a movie that was like the Care Bears movie, which is something I also loved. You know, it was I think we all should have known where my path was going, Care Bears, and, you know, but it just, to me, it was musical theater. You know, it was elevated in some way, not just the animation, and I remember when it got nominated for an Oscar, I was so excited because it was the first animated film to ever be nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, was it?
Yes. And that wasn't when they had an animated category. It was nominated for Best Picture.
I don't remember that was the case.
There were only 5. There were only 5. I mean, it was a really big deal. That movie changed a lot for films. So I am warranted in my love for it.
Yes, correct.
I'm just
Absolutely
constantly
validated.
defending how obsessed I've been.
No need to defend within these walls.
Okay, great.
So let's talk about one of your favorite artists who has one of your favorite albums, favorite love song, and that's Sarah McLachlan.
Yes.
So how did she come into your life?
I just had a lot of older girlfriends who luckily had really good music taste. I always felt behind as a kid because I was an only child and I didn't have any older siblings. And so it really made me feel less than. Like even talking to you now, I'm like nervous to talk about music. And I'm like when I would go to the dance and the other kids would know all the words to a song, I'd be like, I don't know what this is. Like, can we sing Beach Boys? I only knew the 60s. I did not know current music. And I felt like kids who had older siblings were just way ahead of me on all that stuff. So by the time I got into middle school, high school, there were just a lot of girls in my theater scene who were in touch with their feelings and knew Sarah McLachlan and knew a lot of those types of female artists who were singing about something that was a little bit deeper than I was aware of. And frankly, I didn't understand the lyrics. There was something in her melody and in her voice that was more powerful to me, that was kind of like calling to me. And I was able to sing harmony with her. I know it sounds so silly, but being able to sing with an artist while you're listening to them and have the right harmony line. It's just her voice and my voice worked really well together.
Right.
And I really would just kind of lose myself in her music when it was introduced to me, and realized how theatrical and dramatic it was. And I started to, not just listen to the music, but I would start to make videos and music videos of her songs. And I remember I did an English project of the Scottish play in high school, and 3 of the songs are Sarah McLachlan songs that I used in it because I was like, I really want this moment where Lady M's really falling apart and Sarah will be singing in the background. And
what song would she be singing?
There was Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, I think I used, and a bunch of old ones, things that were definitely B-sides of Sarah. You'd have to really know.
Deep cuts.
Yeah. But she had that album, Surfacing and Mirror Ball, that were very, very important to my high school years. And I'm realizing Surfacing, Building a Mystery. I put Sarah McLachlan up on my freshman year dorm room wall, a poster of Sarah McLachlan. And it was kind of like my first coming out notice.
Oh, really? Did you feel when you did it, you look back now and you felt that? Or at the time, did you feel that as well?
I did not feel like it was that big of a statement because my love for her was so, I never questioned it. However, I did feel like I was at drama school. I should be safe enough to put up a Sarah McLachlan poster. I went to an all-boys Catholic school, so I wasn't necessarily talking about Sarah McLachlan to everyone there, right? But at drama school, I was like, I can, love her and, people will understand. And I realized that these songs in that time, that longing, that aching that I had was all from being in the closet, that was kind of what she was singing about for me.
Yeah.
That building a mystery and surfacing, all of these things that she's singing about and that are melancholy, that there was a lot of sadness in there, but also beauty. It was this birth thing for me. And, Lilith there was a huge part of that. And it's just so weird that when you called me to do this or asked me to do this, and Lilith Fair is such a big thing right now because of the documentary, it was a really big deal, that all that music in that period of time for me.
This is tough. They kind of all go together and they speak to your Irish heritage. I'm half Irish. Mm-hmm. So tell me, of these 3, maybe you could tell me one that stands out. The Foggy Dew. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Some say The Devil is Dead, which when I listen to the first 5 seconds is in my brain and is in your that has not left my brain. Some say the devil is dead.
The devil is dead. The devil
Okay,
is
that one and the fields of Athenry.
Fields of Athenry.
Athenry.
Yeah.
So of those three, or all of them, what kind of tell me about those when they came in your life, or how they're why they're important to you?
They've been in my life my whole life. Like
Really?
those, yeah. Like Fields of Athenry is just like a pub song anthem that like even like the Irish. I don't know. Like if you're in Ireland, they'd probably like us going and being like, let's sing God Bless America, you know, like
Really?
it's like so, it's a lot. So the Yanks, as they call us, you know, we always want to hear the Irish music. Oh, you want to hear Fields of Athenry again, do you? So Fields of Athenry, it's also like a fight song. Like they, you know, like have their little chants in between each verse or something.
Oh, really?
But it's really like there's Irish and there's American Irish. You know, it's like so many of the Irish who came over to America were mourning their country that they left behind, this beautiful place that they really put on a pedestal. And I grew up loving Ireland, even though I had never been there. I mean, it was just like the most perfect, wonderful place. And my mom had only been there once, but
100% Irish, is she?
yeah, we're 100% Irish. So it was, she actually fell in love with an Irishman, had a one-night stand on St. Patrick's Day, and that's why I'm here. So I am a very big Irish cliche.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I'm pretty Irish. But like I'm, you know, in touch with that family, and they're still in Ireland, and I'm very, very grateful for that culture, because it definitely not only gave me my love for music, but like the pub culture of listening to live music, listening to Fields of Athenry, and all of those amazing songs. They were in pubs. And that's where we would go on the weekends, you know. And I would go to the bars with my mom. She worked as a bartender as well at one of the bars in Cleveland, and hang out, because that's what life is when you're Irish.
Yeah.
It's doing your work 9 to 5 or blue collar stuff, and then heading to the pub. And it's kind of like a cultural community center.
It's more familial and kind of
Yeah,
like,
they had a back room with a restaurant, and we did have fish fries on Fridays because we couldn't eat meat. And you would watch the band Alec and Mary, were these singers who would sing live, and they would sing all those Irish songs that I would know, like, what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? You know, I'm singing these songs in second grade in my classroom together.
Wow. Was it always the same pub that you went to?
Yeah. We always went to Patty's Pub.
Patty's Pub.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. I'm real cliche.
For years and years, was it always there? I mean, that was when you
Yeah. So that, I mean, there were many pubs. That was just the one that my mom worked at and had a friend who owned it. But Cleveland is just made up of tons and tons of Irish pubs.
Is there a big Irish population?
Huge
I don't know
Irish
if I knew that.
population. Yeah, a lot of the Irish who are in Cleveland, their ancestors all came from the west coast of Ireland, from the same county, County Mayo. So they all came over. So when we go to Ireland and we go to County Mayo, it's like they're like, oh yes, I know where you grew up. I know that town. You know, like there's a real connection, and to the pub life there, listening to music, live music in Ireland and also in Cleveland. It's just like the tradition that was passed on. So I grew up with all of those songs, and it definitely informed my, you know, Celtic Sarah McLachlan, and, you know, a lot of the stories that are told.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Irish stories are basically little theatrical stories, you know? So it definitely informed a lot of my music tastes. You know, that's a part of me that sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, it's not something that I like want to share with other people, that I like need to go there, but I do. I need to kind of go to that melancholy side of music and to explore that. It helps me kind of get through some things and to feel my feelings and to feel alive, you know? And it does kind of go back to, okay, these are my people who made this music, and it really does speak to me.
Let's take a little bit for me of a right turn. How did one of your favorite artists you have with two favorite albums is Green Day? Both Dookie and American Idiot. How did those come into your life?
When? It's funny because like they're very theatrical. Like I didn't know how to articulate that back then, but when Dookie came out, I was like, I love this, and I was so excited because all the boys in my middle school loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of you dudes. Yeah, and I really, really loved it. I was very into, I mean, it's kind of like you can see I was headed towards Sarah McLachlan, but a lot of the alternative music, all the grunge, like a lot of my friends in theater were like, oh, you got to listen to The End 107.9 in Cleveland. They play all the grunge music and alternative. So I can't say that like I loved all of it, but I loved a lot of it. And Green Day to me was the most theatrical, and I loved that album. But then American Idiot, I mean, it was like a rock opera to me. I mean, and then it literally turned into a Broadway show, which I had always been like, this is a Broadway show. This is a rock opera, almost like Tommy.
Do you remember who was it through that radio station, or did somebody introduce you to Dookie? Like say, hey man, you gotta listen to this, or
it wasn't the radio station because it was like when I was in 6th grade and I wasn't really in charge of the radio stations were more like late middle school, high school. Dookie was what, 94? Yeah. So I would have been 13, still in middle school. I remember very specifically listening to it at a friend's sleepover that I was on the football team with.
What position did you play?
I was always the center. Always the center. Yes. I only had one job, just get the ball to the quarterback and snap the ball. And
that's an important...
it's very important. As long as I don't have to do anything other than that, I was very happy always, because I was a big guy, so they always wanted me to play football. They being like my uncles
Coaches.
and the community. I was just like a big kid. And when you're a big kid in Ohio, you got to play football.
Massive football. I
right.
mean, like,
yeah.
It's one sport that's the one sport I follow is college football.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, Ohio, like of the handful of states, Ohio, Texas, California, Florida, it's football.
My husband went to IU, so now we're watching
college
football.
Oh, so is he really into college football or just because
now,
it's IU?
Yes.
Like that?
Well, my in-laws are all very, very happy. And, I didn't really have Notre Dame, I would go to like games at Notre Dame when I was growing up. Anyway, but yes.
But so it was a sleepover with some of you on the football team. Just like a group of guys? Or
I remember,
it
was a group of guys. I remember listening to Dookie and being excited that I could participate in this conversation.
Yeah.
I know what's up. And I remember listening to Adam Sandler's comedy CD. So there was like, I don't know, we were just listening to music, and that was what that sleepover was. But I always liked their music. And then when American Idiot came out, which was...
It was 2004.
4. Oh, okay.
10 years later.
Yeah. So I was out of
23.
college at that point. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's a big difference. But like that to me was, the Iraq War. That was like very political. That was very like... I was out, it just was there was a lot of language that I thought was really important. And I don't know, like, I'm sure it's controversial, but, they would say like, well, maybe I'm the F word America.
Yeah.
And I was, an out gay guy, and I found that so empowering that they were saying that. I know that sounds weird. It was just that this was a very straight band to me, a very like in your face, like hardcore punk, and they were like, oh yeah, well maybe I'm that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Like maybe that's me. And I just felt like they were still in my corner somehow.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I know that like I'm not even going to say that word because I don't want to. I would say that word if it was just me. I'm not going to put that out there, me saying that. But I found it very powerful for me at that time after I had come out just a few years before that. And to have this band that I thought was like a really, not like masculine energy, but like just like aggressive, punk.
Yeah.
And it was punk to say that about themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, I loved that album for so many reasons. And to kind of like, post September 11th. And it was just like, it encapsulated a lot of what my generation was feeling at that moment.
Oh, that's great. This is good. What am I going to pick next?
It was hard to fill out this form.
It's very hard.
It feels like staring in a mirror.
Let's go to a little old artist named Stephen Sondheim. You have Sunday in the Park with George, Sweeney Todd. Tell me why Everybody Loves Louie is a favorite love song of yours, and why Sunday in the Park with George is a favorite pump-up song of yours.
Yeah.
More importantly, that
I know,
one, I
that's
think.
Pretty wild, right? Well, really, Everybody Loves Louie, that's just what it is right now. I'm somebody who's going to listen to Stephen Sondheim musicals on the reg. Like, I will be playing that in the car. I've never been in one. I have sung those songs, but as a person who sees himself as an actor who can sing, that is
that how you see yourself?
Yes. I see myself as an actor who can sing because I've heard real singers. They're incredible. I don't see myself as one. It's always been like, well, no, I'm not trying to.
Right. You're not. It's not false humility. You're just saying.
No. I think I have a great voice and I love singing. I love it. But I know that when I go to a concert or I'm asked to sing something, I got to find something funny or a story because there are going to be people who can set off fireworks with their vocal cords. Fireworks. And for me, Stephen Sondheim was always writing a character and story. And the fact that these characters were using musical notes was kind of secondary. It just was like, oh, it's just how we're telling the story. It's not about the notes. And, I don't think I've ever been in a show of his. It's like my ultimate goal at this point to do that. But I'm the biggest fan. Basically, if you're in musical theater, it's cliche, but it's for a reason.
Yeah.
It's that he's the best.
And why is Sunday in the Park with George a pump up song for you?
Sunday,
the beginning one, that bum 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 bum, the opening, or just like
Sunday. I should say Sunday is this probably Sunday by the blue, purple, yellow, red water. That song, it is not just pump up to make me happy. It can make me very, very sad. It can literally course through my veins to make me feel alive is basically what it does.
Right.
That is something where I don't know if the volume could ever be loud enough to make me feel the vibration of those harmonies. And it's about art. That whole show to me is so fantastic because it's about being an artist without having to talk about being an actor. It's like it's about who we all are, but not totally about us. Or it's really so universal for artists and about creating. And there's this moment in Sunday. I really have watched the VHS recording so many times of Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters and that original cast. There's this moment where the whole show, or the beginning of the show, she's like, "Why are you in the zoo drawing monkeys? What do you, this is people think you're crazy." And he at this moment, this musical moment where he pulls a monkey out of the ground and hands it to her as her pet, that this was why he was doing it, was to make it for the love of his life, that this painting would live forever, and that he wasn't very good at showing his love or emotion as a person, but as an artist, he was profound and extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's him, it's Stephen Sondheim, it's these actors coming together, and it's about a piece of art, this painting, but it's about so much more. And I'm kind of just making gibberish here, but it's like there's no describing it other than listening to it.
It's interesting. I love that you said it could be great sadness, and I like the idea. I never thought of it, a pump-up song being like literally your heart is pumping blood into your being, that you're just alive, whether it's through great sadness or feeling. It doesn't have to mean like, pump up like that. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a delight talking with you.
This is great. I love what you're doing. I think this podcast is awesome.
Thanks, Ryan.